Right side, the bolt was seized up, but I got it undone. Gun is empty. Left side, hey Jay. Here you go. Good morning. Those videos and those pictures are pretty impressive of that gun. I guess that's why it came to me, was because it's pretty. At the time, it was pretty non-functional, and that's how I like my guns. And anyway, so here it is. It's a Remington 742 semi-automatic 308. Um, it had been left behind some guy's seat in his truck for about 3 years, and of course it looks it. After looking at it, it really wasn't as bad as it looked in the videos and stuff. All the corrosion's on the outside of the gun, not on the inside. It's on the barrel, it's on the receiver. Um, some of it's pretty deep. There's some pretty good pitting uh, involved there. So I've tried to approach it from a different aspect than I have any of the other guns that I own and work on. The first thing I did was I went and looked at the diagrams of the gun to find out exactly what's supposed to happen. The bolt itself was frozen shut, um, and the owner had told me that it was empty. But you never believe. I would never believe somebody that told me, "Hey, I haven't seen a gun in 3 years, and don't worry, it's empty." So it took me a while. I brought it outside and I pointed it in the safe direction, and I messed with it, and eventually I was able to get the bolt open, and it was in fact empty. So that's a good thing. So I brought it back inside. I looked at the diagrams, and it's very similar to a gun I had before. It was a 7600 pump action Remington, and it's basically the same gun, really, kind of, and as far as the way it's put together and stuff. The pump action, this one, the semi-automatic, the gun cycles itself. You don't have to do it, so it's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to taking it out and shooting it. The second thing I did was I took the gun apart, and the reason I took it apart was, number one, to find out if all the pieces were there. I wanted to see how extensive the corrosion was, which there was no corrosion inside, and just make it easier for cleaning and doing what I was going to do to it to make it look better. And that's basically what this is a trying to make things look better, because it's functional, and the bore's looking good. Everything looks pretty good. Now the bore right at the very end near the muzzle, there's a little bit of rust there, but I can work that out. So after that, what I did was I took the metal and I polished it. And polishing metal is sanding metal, and it got to the point where I started with 150 grit, which is unbelievable for me to think about using something that coarse on metal. But I started with 150 grit and oil. You have to always put oil down. Oil acts as a lubricant, and it also draws away the little pieces of metal that will cause it to scratch. I mean, it's going to scratch anyway, but with the oil, it that's how you get a nice shine to it. After doing that, I blued the receiver, and I looked at it, and the pitting was really evident, and I just didn't like the way it looked necessarily. So I went online and I looked up some things, and somebody had suggested that I use Cerama-coat. I've never used it before. I had a can of Cerama-coat, which is a Wheeler product, which is similar, and it comes in a spray can, and you spray it on, and first of all you take your polished metal, or it doesn't have to be polished, even just your metal, and then you degrease it. You have to be careful about degreasing it, because if you leave any grease on there, the paint's gonna, or the Cerama-coat's gonna come off, and it's gonna look awful. So what I did after I cleaned it for degreasing, I used some brake part cleaner and sprayed it down with that and wiped it down, and it did a pretty good job. Then you spray a thin coat of the Cerama-coat down, and I put a coat of that, and then I put another coat on top of that, and it came out pretty good, I think. The only problem with it, I mean, it filled in some of it filled in a lot of the smaller pitting, which is good, which is good. And then man, the light's awful bright. There we go. And then I covered up the serial number. You can still see some of the pitting, but I think it looks a whole lot better. So then after you spray it the second time, then you have to cook it in the oven. And luckily I'm real early in the morning and my wife was sleeping, and I cooked the gun in the oven. And you have to cook it at 300 degrees for 30 minutes. And what that does is it makes the coating adhere to the metal, and makes it some pretty hard stuff. Here's the barrel, that barrel that you looked at. You can still see this pitting, but it looks a whole lot better than it did. Now, I don't know, this isn't an advertisement for this stuff, because I don't know how it's going to hold up. I mean, I may take it out to the range and it may just all peel off. I don't know. I think that one of if I decide that this is something that I like to do with a gun, I might invest in a rig to do Cerakote, which is more durable, and you need an air gun, and I have a compressor, so it would be maybe an easy step to just get the kit and mix the stuff up and spray it on, and it might actually be better. I put some oil on it. The reason I put oil, you don't have to, but the reason I put oil on it was in case there's a little chip or something like that in the paint or the Cerama-coat, that I don't want it to rust. So that's why I put oil on it. I don't know, I've been thinking about putting wax on it. I have my practice barrel, it's an old sawed-off um, Enfield Mark III barrel that I had replaced, and I had to put some wax on it to see how that would do, and of course I chipped it up to see how durable it was and stuff, and just to check it out. Then I decided I'm not going to do it, but I took a matte finish uh, acrylic spray, clear, and put that on it to see how that would look, and I think it looks okay. But the question is, what happens if the the this paint that you sprayed on there starts peeling or whatever? Then it'll make it look like crap. So I think I'm going to stick with just oil. I might put some wax on it just to add a little extra coating for scratches and stuff. But I mean, it's not anywhere recommended by Wheeler or anybody to put wax on it. It's just me being a little bit cautious on it because I don't know the product. And now if for some reason that it does get scratched or whatever, that apparently you can take and put more on, and then you have to cook it again for the 300 degrees for 30 minutes, and it'll repair that. So I ordered another can. I used a can. I had played around with it a little bit on some stuff, so I didn't have quite a full can. So I ordered another can, just in case when I start putting this together, if it starts scratching up. It I was putting it together. The gun, I cleaned it, done it, put it together, and then I realized I didn't have the little plastic piece that goes in for anybody that knows of Remington. It's a shield that goes over um, the entrance to your receiver, and it keeps the dust out. So it wasn't on there when I got it, but I want it to be on there for me, just to have it. So, um, and when I was putting it together, it scratched it up some. So it seems like sharp metal on it will scratch it, and I guess it'll do that on a blued barrel also. So, but I don't know. I guess we'll have to see how it goes. When the gun is done, I'll do a little thing on it, and so that, we can get the story of the gun and find out what's going on. They made these, I think, from 1960 to 1980, and I don't know where it sits, but we'll have it by then. Okay. Well, anyway, I just wanted to share that with you.